What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back here with another match preview. Brighton against Tottenham at the Amex, Sunday 7:15 kickoff. You know where to go for the live watch along. Come straight over to We Are Tottenham TV, obviously the fan show straight after. But look, let's get into this match preview. We need to get back to winning ways, don't we?
It's imperative, absolutely imperative, and it's also very important that we win this game, scoring a couple goals just to get that feeling of Harry Kane's absence. We need to get that out of the way as soon as possible. The longer it goes on, if I say we struggle to score goals or struggle to have chances and stuff like that, the more it lingers in the back of our mind. Kane, when are we really going to start scoring without him? We're really struggling without Kane. That narrative starts to play.
Yeah. And
if the media gets hold of it, it will play on the player's mind. I tell you. So we need to really. An early goal will do us a world of good. It will do us a world of good in this game. But it's a big question.
Yeah, it is. And also, in the terms of the last couple of times we've lost Harry Kane, I know I've said it a lot already, that saying we've kind of coped well with Sonny filling in and Sonny really getting over the line for us in those kind of games. But the media always play on that. Harry Kane's going to be out. Once Harry Kane's out, Tottenham's season's pretty much derailed. But the media are playing on it again, but as soon as one game comes out of the way, usually the media kind of get, they've got Humans on, it's all right.
Yeah, but the thing is with Kane, he's been so influential this season. It's like more
both
influential.
sides of the pitch.
That's the thing. Not just that, not just the goals. He's had so many assists to his game. He's actually been involved in 70% of our goals this season. So
it's time for other people to step up, man.
Yeah, you can look at it two ways. You can look at it one way, like he's been 70% of our goals. So all of a sudden, if you take that away, we're going to struggle. But then you can look at it another way and saying it's an opportunity for other players to step up. And if they can step up right now, then it bodes well for the future of when Kane is back, and maybe they can be more cohesive. So there's another way of looking at it. But obviously, look, you can't run away from the fact it's a massive blow to have Harry Kane out. You can't run away from that fact. And he's a great player and he's a world-class talent, and you can't replace him with anywhere near as good as him.
I think the difference now of him being out there as before, that is the difference, is he's never been actually this influential on our team before in terms of grabbing this many goals and assists all in the same kind of go. So maybe it actually will hurt us more than it has done in the past. I'm kind of fearing that.
Yeah, I hope not. That's the worry, because we've been so reliant. But then sometimes you see in other teams, they're so heavily reliant on one player, and then when he goes out, all of a sudden they're not looking for him all the time.
Releases the shackles.
Exactly. Sometimes other players can step up, and other players, they find something from somewhere, and if there's more pressure on them and they're getting the ball more, then they can do more stuff. So, look, I'm not saying. That I'm not sure who that player could be.
It's got to be one of Sonny, Bergwijn.
If Sonny's already doing so much, you know what I mean? So it has to be one of Bergwijn or Bale.
Bergwijn, Bale, Ndombele,
Vinicius.
These players. Yeah, Vinicius. So look, that we've got players to step up. It's just a question of will they step up or not. Last time we played Brighton, when we were speaking before the game, you kind of told me, or you were thinking that they were in a kind of false position with the way they play football and the results they were getting. Are you still feeling the same way about them?
Yes and no. I would say they are a better. Like if you come up against them, right? They're 17th in the league at the moment. So you come up against them, and because they're low down, you think it's going to be an easy game. But Brighton are never easy. They're never easy. They really like to play good football, and they make it very hard for you to get the ball off them. They're very good at keeping possession. Their big problem is scoring goals. That's their biggest problem. And, they haven't scored many goals of late. But what they have done is improve their defence, which means that hasn't cost them as much as of late, their poorest strike force. But it's tough to say they're in a false position now, because it's halfway through the season, and if your strike force is that bad, then you have to look at yourself and think maybe it's like a relegation strike force in a way.
Some more pies getting on the score sheet on the weekend then.
Yeah, probably. Knowing Spurs.
Dr. Tottenham are here.
Yeah, definitely. Well, they did win. They drew their last game to Fulham 0-0, and they won the one before that 1-0 against Leeds.
Yeah.
So it's a couple of tight games, and against Man City couple of weeks ago, was a really tight game. They only lost 1-0, and I remember watching that game, and they could have easily nicked something at the end. So we know it's not going to be an easy game in the Amex. But they need the points. That's the thing. They need the points, and they know a draw is not really good enough at this point. They need, because Fulham are hot on their tails at the moment in the battle for relegation. Yeah. So they're going to come, and I think they're going to try and win, which could help us.
So that's the thing, though. I think they might kind of come and win, but they're not going to come out and play expansive football and go all out to try and beat us. I think they're going to take a bit more of a pragmatic approach and try kind of pick their moments to try and win the game. Do you not feel that way?
That's not how they usually play.
I know it's not how they usually play, but when they come up against a better side, that's how they should try and combat that. And I think that's how they will, and that's how they did when they played us at the Tottenham Stadium.
That's not true, actually. They dominated possession when at Tottenham Stadium.
They did dominate possession,
They dominated possession. They were actually, we were complaining about how much control they had, I remember. And although it was one of those games where we created the better chances, Brighton actually made all the running. I remember that quite clearly, and we did end up getting the winner at the end. But even though in that game, the Lamptey goal shouldn't have stood, it doesn't mean they didn't deserve that equaliser, because they kind of did at the time. I remember they were kind of on top, and they didn't create chances, but they were on top of us, and that goal wasn't a surprise, despite the fact it shouldn't have stood. And then obviously Bale got the winner for us late on, which got us the win. So that was a tight game, but it's going to be a tough game. I'm not saying it's not going to be easy, but if we approach it in the right way, if we attack in the right moments, because we know Brighton can leave a lot of space, then then I'm sure we can get the win in this game. I really am.
Do you think they will leave a lot of space, though, knowing the threat we have on the break with Heung-min Son, Steven Bergwijn, potentially a Gareth Bale or Vinicius and Ndombele up top?
Maybe as the game wears on, no, but I think early doors we might have an opportunity to strike, and that's what we got to take. We got to first 25 minutes we got to get a goal. I really believe that it's really imperative we have a strong start to this game, not only just for the game, also the confidence in the team to play without Harry Kane. We need to get an early goal, and that will settle the team down, and it should stand us in good stead. We know Brighton, they like to play a back three.
Yeah.
So they like to play usually with two strikers, and usually with some pace as well, with Trossard or Maupay or a couple of those players. Who else they have up front? They have had Welbeck, but I don't know if he's going to play.
I think he's injured.
Aaron Connolly's got some pace as well, and one player
Lamptey's injured.
And Lamptey's injury was a big help for us because he's been great for them. A couple of players I want to point out to. First of all, one player who's gone under the radar is this McAllister, who I actually think has been pretty good for them. A little creator in midfield. He's an academy player, and he came into the team. I remember he made his debut actually against Arsenal and got an assist. I remember
his debut.
I think he got an assist literally in the last minute to score. And since then, he's not gone up, but like recently he's come back in the team and played quite well. He got a really good assist against Leeds in a really good footballing move to get the goal. But one player who's really been a standout for them is Bissouma, and we've been talking about him a lot.
Yeah.
Really great player. I don't know if you saw his goal in the FA Cup a week ago or so.
I did, yeah.
What a strike. And he's just showing what he's got in his armoury, isn't he, Bissouma? Because all the talk we were saying is, great engine, really good at dribbling, good passer. But we didn't talk about shooting, but he smashed it into the top corner from 30 yards, and I'm thinking this is a real player. And imagine if we had him partnering Højbjerg. I mean, I'd be licking my lips right now. But he plays for Brighton. He could be one maybe we could look at the summer if we're smart. But he's one to really look out for. The thing is, they play three at the back, but they don't play a 3-4-3 like we played against Liverpool. They play three centre mids.
So it's like 3-5-2, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So the worry thing for me is if we do go with three at the back, we could still end up being outnumbered in midfield, which could be counterproductive. So it would be very interesting to see what Mourinho does, because if we do go three at the back, I would still want another midfielder in there, and maybe
to be honest, if they're gonna play with three CMs, I can't see us playing three at the back. I just can't. I think we're going to go a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1 kind of thing.
Might be right. We did that in last game.
Yeah, I think so. I think we're going to play a kind of middle two, potentially of Højbjerg, Sissoko, and then Ndombele in the number 10 position. That's my feeling.
Yeah, I think you might be right. I think that's the team we went for last time. I think maybe Lucas might have started. Maybe, I don't think Bergwijn started. But I can't remember. Yeah.
Am I right in saying that the last time we went to the Amex was that game when we lost 3-0?
Horrific game.
Lloris went off injured, and ever since he come back was singing his praises, apart from obviously the Liverpool game. Are the players going to get any PTSD going into this game? Obviously?
Well, how many players are still left from that team?
Well, you've got Hugo, Dyer, obviously, Eric
Dyer, Winks was there.
Toby.
Son was playing, Kane was playing. Kane's not going to play this time. So there's a few players. I hope they don't. But that was probably the worst. I can't remember a worse. Even we were worse in that game than when we lost to Bayern 7-2.
Yeah.
Like, we were awful in that game. That game was so bad that 3-0 flattered us.
Yeah.
I still haven't watched the highlights back of that game. I can't. I haven't been able to bring myself to ever watch the highlights.
It was hard. That was a hard day.
I wanted to forget that game.
And also,
happened.
just like we were in the front row that day at the Amex and hearing Lloris just literally scream. Like, Lloris was in like touching distance of us.
I remember.
And it was just like, oh,
It was horrific. That was one of those horrific days as a Spurs fan. I think it was just embarrassing. The manner of defeat, the injuries, it was one of Poch's last games as well, and the fact that the 3-0 scoreline flattered Brighton, who were struggling at the time to even score a goal, was just embarrassing. And I think that Connolly guy scored in his couple goals in his debut, didn't he? That day.
Was that his debut?
I think that was his debut. So that was a really, really bad day, and we can't have another day like that on Sunday. But we need to get back to winning ways to have that good feeling again, because if we let this fester, this bad feeling that we got at the end of the Liverpool game, it could really turn into something really ugly, and that's what I'm worried about.
The thing is, the bad feeling, in my opinion, was maybe obviously not to this extent, but we've only won 2 games in our last 9 Premier League games. So, I mean, we really need to start putting a run together.
Yes, we've lost 2 games in our last 9 Premier League games, sorry, we've won 2 games in our last, I think it's 8 Premier League games, or no, I can't remember if it's 8 or 9, one of the 2. Yes, we've only won 2, but there has been some cup games sprinkled in, which has kept the good feeling. We've got to a final. We're in the FA Cup. Yeah. We're through in the Europa League. It's kept that feeling.
But let's be honest, the teams that we've been playing in the cup are all been lower division teams.
Yeah, I know, but it's still we've been getting those wins. So it keeps.
But has that been papering over our good feeling, our bad feeling kind of thing?
Probably, because ever since Arsenal, we've won 2 games.
Fallen off a cliff in terms of results in the Premier League.
We beat Arsenal to go top, and we've won 2 games out of 8 since then, which is really not what we expected at all. We thought that we would be flying with confidence. The only thing you could say is, in that run, we've played obviously Liverpool twice, we've played Leicester. Those are 3 games stick out to you as games we've really been outclassed in.
Yeah.
But apart from those 3 games of the 8, the other 5, we've drawn those 5, and you got to say that. Yes, we drew those games, and yes, the results are not good enough, but at least we look at those games and can see why we drop points, and you can see there's that if we improve in certain areas where the game could be won, because we had those games in the palm of our hand, we chucked them away.
Yeah.
And so that at least that in those games, Mourinho can turn around to play and say, look, you chuck these games away. If you do this, we can win the game. Obviously, the games against Liverpool, Leicester, you have to hold your hands up and just say we were beaten by the better sides on those days. You can't say that about the other games.
Yeah, but also it's the question of why were we beaten by the better side. Yes, I know they're both very good sides, but Liverpool were going into it in very bad form. Leicester, yes, I know they're having a very good season and they are a very good side, but Leicester at home, we should not be getting outclassed.
Yeah, well, you got to say it was a very close game until Aurier gave away a penalty. Same with the Liverpool at home yesterday. It was a very close game until
it's just individual mistakes.
That's the thing.
Over and over
That's
again.
The thing. But hopefully they won't. Look, you just got to hope that we can mitigate that against a Brighton side. We have to outscore them. That's what we have to look to do.
Looking at this game, back on the game, where do you think the kind of key matchups are, and where can we really hurt them? Where's the moments of the park that we can really hurt them?
Full wing backs. For sure we can hurt them, because Lamptey's out, who's been fantastic for Brighton this season. He's not going to be playing. Solly March is a wing back who is very offensive, likes to get forward a lot. He's a natural winger. He's not a natural fullback, wing back. So the fact that he starts wing back for them means that there's definitely going to be gaps there if they come forward, and that's what we got to exploit. That's what we definitely have to exploit. They've got a strong centre back 3 of Dunk, Webster, and Ben White.
I like Dunk. He's a very good player.
Yeah, I like Dunk as well. I think he's a good ball playing centre back.
Would you take him at Spurs?
He wouldn't be my first choice, but
I mean, let's put it this way: is he better than Dyer? I probably think so. Is he better than Sanchez?
Yeah,
probably. Let's leave Rodon out of it, and Toby. He's probably not better than Toby.
Look, I think he probably gets in our team at the moment, Dunk, for sure. I think he's a really good player, and I think you put him around better players as well, because he has to obviously drag a lot of the Brighton defenders around him. But if you put him around better players, he could even improve. So, didn't he nearly sign for Chelsea before he signed a contract, or was linked with Chelsea?
He's been linked with a host of moves a few.
He is getting on a bit now. He's 29, so his big move might be past him. But he is a good player, and is one.
When you say that, defenders do go on longer, but I can't see us signing him at 29.
No, I think we're going to go for a younger one. So I think those Veltman hasn't been as good as Lamptey has, so he's definitely one. Especially if Son starts on the left, he will definitely target him. In the centre obviously Basuma's unbelievable centre mid, but apart from him, they could get overrun a bit. We could overrun them if we have a bit more energy in there, because they got McAllister or Pascal Gross, one of those. Or I know Lallana played last time, but I think he might be injured. But he's Davy Proper. Actually, I'm a big fan of Davy Proper. I think it's a good player, but he's not the biggest. He's not the most energetic. So I think if we first of all, Ndombele, you know how classy he can be against these kind of players.
If we can have Sissoko, Højbjerg, and Ndombele in there in the middle. There's no reason why we get overrun. I mean, Sissoko and Højbjerg are runners in itself. Ndombele's got that quality to get past anyone, really. So I can't see us having them three in the middle and it not working.
Yeah, I mean, obviously defensively that should be fine. But
even going forward, Højbjerg likes to break the line sometimes, and Ndombele, we all know the class that he's got.
Yeah, look, obviously it depends how the game goes. We played that three in against Brighton early in the season. We did struggle to keep possession. We created a few chances, but but in terms of possession, we did struggle a bit. So whether Mourinho will look at that and think he needs to go for a different approach, we'll have to wait and see.
But it was also like back when Ndombele wasn't at his fittest kind of thing.
Yes, he did go off, didn't he? So he went off fairly early.
I think he went off around like late 50s, early 60s.
Yeah, I remember he didn't have a great game that game. That was just one of those games. But yeah, that is the three I'd probably go for, to be honest. I think we just need to go back to basics to how we were playing before, and just although we weren't creating as many chances, you can kind of see why we had to go for that approach right now, because our defence, when you give them too much responsibility, they keep failing. And
we saw at the beginning of the season, now we're seeing it now again.
And we were wondering, because everyone was complaining one day when we were playing Højbjerg and Sissoko, literally as a back six, and we're like, oh, can't we just push up a bit? We need a bit more to be a bit more offensive. We can't be we're having a back six is too defensive, and now we're seeing why. We are seeing it. We are seeing why now, because they were just awful when you give them too much responsibility. Having said that, it was against Liverpool, so
we've conceded 3 against West Ham, we conceded 2 against Southampton, all playing this kind of way. So our defence is clearly so easy to get out when we're not playing that kind of defensive football. But it really is.
Yeah, but one thing I would say about Brighton is they're so porous going forward, and they do struggle for goals. So maybe that's one thing we can look at and think, if we do attack, the probabilities will score more goals than they do. You could look at it that way, but it's going to be interesting to see how he lines up, because there's a lot of question marks. We'll get into it in the predicted lineup, but there's a lot of question marks in this lineup compared to a lot of other lineups we've done. A lot. This is probably going to be the most interesting predicted lineup for a Premier League game we've done in a while.
Exactly. So check out the predicted lineup coming out in a few hours for you guys.
But what's your prediction for this game?
I'm going 1-0 Spurs. I think it's going to be a bit more of a pragmatic approach from Jose Mourinho as opposed to the last couple of weeks. Desperate to get back to winning ways. Like I said, 2 wins from the last 8 or 9 games. So it's imperative we win this game. It's imperative we're defensively solid today, just for the confidence. And I think 1-0, and I back Gareth Bale to start as well.
I'm going to go 3-1. I'm hoping we can really exploit Brighton. I'm hoping.
So am I.
I'm thinking that early doors we can hit them early, get an early goal like we have done a lot very often this season, and that can really stand us against it and give us a lot of confidence going into the latter part of the match. And hopefully, if we do win this game, it might give us a good feeling and not be thinking about Harry Kane too much. And hopefully,
especially with Chelsea around the corner.
Exactly, we need to bounce back quickly, because with Chelsea, West Brom, Everton, and City, our next 4 games after, if
West Ham after that as well, they're above us at the moment,
and that's also a massive game. Obviously, you have to see what the table looks like when that game comes around, because that's 4 games away. But if we need to get a start this week with a good feeling. It's so important. All these things make a difference in football. How momentum, having a good feeling, how people. What did Mourinho say? Good feelings, friendship, teamwork.
Yeah.
These are the most important things in football. So I do think these things make a difference. So we need to get off to a winning start, and hopefully momentum can carry us.
I mean, looking at those fixtures now, if we have a poor run in February, it really could be so detrimental to our season.
That's the worrying thing. That is the worrying thing.
This Kane injury has literally come at the worst.
Look how many
time
games
possible.
you have in February. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games.
Yeah.
8 games. That's like, it's madness how many
Yeah.
games we have. You know, one bad result can lead to another in this season.
As
So
we've seen already. As we've seen.
and with all the teams, all the big teams.
Yeah.
So we need to make sure we get back to winning ways as soon as possible. And I'm sure we can do it on Sunday.
All right, so there you have it. That is our match preview. Let me know your scoreline prediction in the comment section below. Let me know how you think the game is going to pan out in the comment section below. And as always, come on you Spurs.